Just like anyone does anything, you right under the bus.
There was a kid that did lacrosse in my instruction 1, and I told him my lacrosse joke, and he didn't laugh. So I feel like the lacrosse joke is this. I really like my lacrosse joke. Bryce, I'm telling my lacrosse joke.
Sorry, listen.
My lacrosse joke. I really like lacrosse because it combines looking like you're catching butterflies with having no friends. That's a pretty fun one.
Yeah.
That's not bad. It's kind of funny. It's poking fun at lacrosse players.
Do you know anything about?
No. I mean, it does look like you're catching butterflies.
Tilt game strong?
I played in high school.
You play?
He's got to have a sense of humor.
Yeah. You guys are right. Okay. Hey, come on. Developer tab.
We're like dogs.
Yeah. You got it? Developer tab turned on there, Elliot? There you go, right there. Windows, go to File, Options, Customize Ribbon. In the right side of the main tabs, check the box for Developer and press OK. And it'll bring up the Developer tab. Okay? Man, got that, Nate? You got it?
Wait.
Gavin?
File options.
Oh, you son of a bitch. File, Options, Customize Ribbon.
Yep.
Are you working on Timber too, Hudson? You son of a bitch.
I'm not working.
Don't ask me what I'm doing.
Maybe you can have Visual Basic do your wood homework for you.
Homework for this class too.
Oh, you're doing it in MathCAD? Yeah.
True.
So it's actually on.
Got it?
For this class.
File
Okay.
options.
Oh my God, dude.
I'm doing it, dude. I'm doing it. Customize ribbon.
20 minutes after.
Developer?
Developer tab. And press OK. What do I do, Noah? Unbelievable. Yeah, that's right. Give me a lap. Oh, I like this too. If you get caught, give me a lap.
Go do some stairs outside.
Yeah, you gotta go ground floor to top.
Get your half on the top, and then if you talk while I'm speaking. You get caught on your phone like Sean. Do a lap, Sean. I like this. It's discipline. I gotta establish some discipline. All right, everybody have the developer tab now.
Yes.
Thank the Lord Jesus Christ. Hey, here we are. Yeah. Well, this is exactly what Bryce here just did. Okay. So then once you do that, once you turn the developer on, here's all the things you could do. In particular, click on the Visual Basic tab. Okay, and it brings up this. Right? And then this is the coding. It is gross, isn't it? Like, it's almost like they haven't updated it since like 1993 when it first came out, right? It's like, it still has the same like font and stuff like that, okay? Yep, and so there it is, right? And here you could do all sorts of coding. So I think you click on this Excel, or you go just right here, and then hit this little guy right here. And then it'll bring up a command, like a window where you could type in some commands. This little guy right here. Insert module, or find insert module.
Insert user form?
If you gotta insert, there's a module.
Oh, I see.
Okay, do insert and then.
It's a drop.
Yep. And then this is where you do your coding. All right, so we got Visual Basic, we got it open. Okay, there's Project Explorer. I talk about that a little bit. So one thing is there's a couple things. You can make a Visual Basic. I think for the most part you would have it attached. It'll be saved within the sheet that you saw, or the file that you have, right? So in your Excel file you'll have a macro, and it'll live just in that sheet. And so if somebody opens the sheet, it comes with the code. There's also a personal macro workbook that you could use from any sheet, no matter where you open it up. But I think for the most part, just having it saved within the worksheet that you're currently working on is totally fine. Okay, so then let's do this for the first one. You got to do this. You just type it in, just like sub say hello. That's the name. Again, we're going to use ChatGPT for most of this stuff, but you say sub. The name of the function is say hello. Then open and close brackets. Oops. sub say hello. And then this right here, message box, hello world, welcome to VBA. That's a command.
That was MSG box.
Yeah, MSG box, hello world, welcome to VBA. Yes, Elliot? It is not case sensitive. And we'll get into that.
That's a problem.
It is a problem because ChatGPT doesn't know that it's not case sensitive, and so you have to correct it. I ran into a couple errors with codes that ChatGPT gave me that I had to say actually it's not case sensitive. You need to adjust this.
It's making different variables.
Yeah, it was making different variables like a lowercase I and a capital I, moment of inertia, and little I as a counter, and then it was getting all confused because of that. All right, and then it ends sub. Okay, so then once you do that, we'll save this. Right, just Command S. Right, and you got to save the overall workbook. So we'll say macro examples, and I'm gonna do that there. Oh, yeah, see, actually, it gave me an error because you can't do that. You have to save it a special way. So you save it, and then you have to do it down here. This is what I said before. It won't let you can't save it as a .xlx. You have to save it as a .xlsm, a macro-enabled workbook.
Oh, look at that.
Okay, and then once that's all saved and ready to go, and then what I could do at this point, there's a couple different places you could do it. I could just hit this big arrow here, and it will run the macro, right? And it should. I'm going to run this back right here, right? And there it is. Like I said, hello world, welcome to Visual Basic. Did you get it to work?
I did.
That's what the message box does. Is it pops that thing out and then gives you the message.
How do you run
Well, your first code, dude.
you run
What's yours look like? Oh, it's way cooler than yours. Look at mine.
My computer.
Mine's way cooler? Or
Mine's way cooler. Look at that.
That's because it's Mac.
Yeah. What does yours look like? Does yours look cool like that?
Mine looks like that too.
Mine looks like
I'm just saying whether I go to the
Boring.
I feel like a nerd already right now.
Because you do this. Yeah. By the way, that's a common thing. When you first start coding, your first coding should always say hello world. That's like that's a thing. I don't know if you've noticed that.
It is.
Right, that's a thing. Is that every like Python, your first code, we didn't do it, but like the sheet I gave you with the first code has to be hello world.
Why do we do that?
That C++. I don't know. It's just tradition.
No, yeah, but where does yours come from?
I don't know. Some nerd somewhere.
So nerd.
Yeah, that's a good point. We'll ask later though, because we're okay. They're trying to teach. Take a lap for trying to distract me. Okay. Another place you can run these things from is this. Right, so I just ran it there. If you if you click on macros, that sub that we just made, it is a macro, right? It is a little macro, and so if you click on the macros button, it brings up all of the macros that you currently have available. And what will show up is every worksheet that you have open, all those macros show up and you're able to run those. Okay. Let me show you a little sweet trick that I learned too. See all these things like you can add in little things. Let's add in a button. Okay, I'm gonna add a button, and I'm gonna associate that button with say hello. Right, and so now every time I hit button, it runs my macro. Mine was just under the developer. Do you guys not have those?
There's the insert window, and if you go down.
Insert window and then go down, you can get it. And then you could associate it with one of the macros, and then we only have one macro available, so I did that. So every time I hit this, it's just boop,
Yeah, actually, how do we do that?
boop.
I don't.
Yeah. Right.
Add-ins. Insert. Insert button.
And then you tie it to one of your macros, and then every time you hit it, it'll run the macro that you have.
Cannot run. The macro may not be available.
Can you go back and edit the button? I don't know.
Can you double click on it?
Or right click?
Nope. Can you right click on it? You right click on it.
Assign macro.
Did you assign a macro? Got it? Yeah, you can add your own you add your own text to it too.
Aha.
Okay. Push me for a fun message. Okay. Ah, there you go, huh?
Push me for a fun. Well, how do you change that in its head?
Okay. All right. I mean that we're most of the way there, right?
Ooh.
I told you this before that you know MATLAB is so forgiving and so open and so easy to use in a sense that we didn't have to define a variable. We just started using variables and they would work. This is one of those programming languages where you have to predefine your variables, right? That's what this command is. I come in here, I say, I don't know what the dim means, but my variable, you have to start out with dim. The variable name is length. I don't know what AS means, and it's a double. A double is a type of variable. It's a type of number, okay? And so, you know, I define like that. When you in your code, if you put remember that you put a % sign in front of your code in MATLAB and it commented out. The way you comment it out in Visual Basic is just an apostrophe. You put an apostrophe before something and then it'll change colors and it won't run that. So what this is doing is it's just defining length, name, and count, right? Length is a double, name is a string, and count is an integer. And so so if you're ever gonna use a variable, you have to predefine them like this, right? Good news, ChatGPT will do this for you if you go through and do it that way. You don't actually have to do that, Nathan, if you don't want to. I'm not going to use that. I saw you frantically trying to go to that. But it kind of tells you different types: integers, doubles, strings, booleans, right? MATLAB, you didn't have to predefine anything. You could shove anything into any variable, and it just automatically would do that. But this is one of those languages that you do have to say what kind of variable it is. Okay? They have if statements, they have for statements, they have for each statements, and then this just pisses me off. Instead of a while loop, they have a do loop. Right? Fuck you guys. Every other programming language has a while loop, and then theirs came up with a do loop. Okay? So here's an example code, right? What this does is it goes through and it flags any number that's greater than 1,000. By the way, a lot of what it uses for examples in here, you don't need a macro for. Excel, you could just do this on your own, right? I could set up real easily. That does this, right? I could just set up and say, you know, here's my numbers, and then just to the right say, you know, if that number over there is bigger than 1,000, do this, else do this, and then I just double click on the little dot and it copies it and pastes it all the way down. So some of it, what it uses as examples, is not a good use of a macro because why would I want to do what this currently does? Because I mean, Excel itself does that, right? And so, I came up with some examples of where you wouldn't do that, and we'll get into. That's what I gave you as a homework. Those are ones that you can't just do with Excel in its basic form. So what this does, let's just look at this. We don't have to do it, but let's just look at it. Right? This flags values in column A, writing over in column B. If it goes over. And so first thing it does is it defines, again, I don't know what the AS means, but it defines a variable I that's an integer, okay? And then it puts as. Hey, fuck you, Noah. Laughing at me, dude. Take a lap for making fun of the professor, dude. You did it at least gently. He did it shaking his head at me. I mean, that's a good point. That's a good point. Reading. It's called reading, dumbass. As. What does as spell? A-S. Hi. Dim. What does dim stand for? Dimension. Me. And so I as an integer. Okay, I like it. It defines I as an integer. Then it does a for loop, right? For I equals 2. What does 2 TO mean?
I don't know.
2 to 100. I don't like that. I don't like it. It's too languagey, right? For I equals 2 to 100, right? If cells I, comma 1, right? So That's it. Cells is obviously which cell, and it's the X or it's the row and then the column, right? And then the value of that greater than 1,000, then cells the second column, so the first column versus the second column, dot value is over, right? And so it'll write over, and then else cells dot vit is nothing. It puts nothing in the next one. Then it ends the if statement, and then it increments I.
So what is this doing?
This is going through. Let's do it.
It doesn't.
It's just checking.
Let's
all
do
of-
it.
Does that double
Sure.
pull the actual value out like it would?
This one,
Yeah.
it just does. It puts a blank there. Well, let's look at it.
What math does, where it pulls the actual value from the string above it and puts it there.
Well, this is no. It's just putting in a blank value. It's just putting in blank. Okay.
Why do you need that at all?
I don't know. I don't know. Probably don't. Probably don't.
Can you
No.
go back briefly? Okay, that's all I needed.
Okay. So let's do it. Let's make this one. Right. So I'm gonna create a new one of these things. I'm gonna sub. What did we call this thing? Let's copy all this stuff down. Unfortunately, the way you can't copy it out of the sheet there. I think you got to call this a sub. It doesn't have the sub part in there, but I think I got to do it. I got to call. I'm gonna call this sub find over.
When you make a new one,
Yep. I did a new module. Yep. I'm gonna call this one find overs, and then I'm gonna say dim I as integer. And then for I equal 2 to 100. So it's going to go through 100 rows. Oh. If I know. Quit it. Cells I comma 1. So that's the row that I'm looking at, and the column 1. So that'd be the A row, right? Dot value greater than 1,000. Then cells I comma 2 dot value equals over else cells I comma 2 dot value equals I'll say we'll make it something not over. And if what'd you do? Okay, see if that worked.
Oh, next I.
But isn't that ugly? Isn't it ugly language? Yeah. Who writes as? Right? So then I need to run this on something. So I'm going to have equals rand between 1 and 2,000. This thing run down. Bunch of elements. Okay, and then I just click on my macros, find over, and run. Ha 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 ha!
Oh.
Yeah, although I did something wrong. Because it's picking out things that are under and call it. Yeah, what did I do wrong?
You inverted it. Wait, no, you didn't. But
I don't know what the fuck I did, to be honest.
I did too.
Yeah, no, same.
I think it's the rand thing. I think because I think it's changing as it's.
Okay. Just let's make it uniform so you can really see the distribution.
There we go. I ran it twice and now it works. Nope, no, it does not. I think it's the rand
It's
thing.
The rand thing because it's updated.
Yeah.
So just do like increments of 100 and drag it down, and then we're gonna see what happens.
I'm gonna paste values.
Or that works too.
I think it was updating the rand as it was going, and so then now it fixed it. It was like running, but then when it ran, it updated the numbers afterwards. So I think it was calling out over or under. Oh, so what I did, Elliot, is I hit macros, and there's all the ones available, and then I picked find over, and I ran that. You can also
How does it?
look what.
How does it know which? Is it only the first row? Is it only in column A?
Yeah, it's called because the cells is the rows columns. It treats it like a matrix, and so you said rows column 1, right? If you look at your code. Oh, you want to see my code?
Oh, so it treats column 1. Column 1 is A.
Is A. Column 1 is A. There is a command that's called range though. Range you call it out as its letter and number, and cells you call it out as its row and column.
Mike, how did you get it to run?
Run.
Because like mine deletes all of my numbers when I do it.
Oh, are you going?
Because I did the rand between.
Oh yeah, but that's gotta be an A.
It's gotta be an A.
Yeah, because the way it's set up is it's looking at this. It's looking in cells the first column. The first column is A. So this, see right there, it says cells I, comma 1.
Yeah.
1 means A.
Oh.
It's
okay.
the first column. And so it's looking at the first column, and then cells I, comma 2, it's putting in B as it's writing the thing in B. And so when you were running it, it was looking in A and then putting in blanks in B.
Okay.
Is what it was doing. Yep. Did you get it, Elliot?
No. It says can't execute code in
Oh yeah. Hit this thing right here. The stop. It has a debugger that I don't know how to use, and so what it'll do is it'll try to show you where it ran. It'll try running this like MATLAB. It'll run and it hits an error, and it'll kick you out and say it didn't work. What Visual Basic does is it stops the code right there and points an arrow at it and says here's the problem, but it's still trying to run it. And you can come in and fix it and then run it from there, or I would just stop it. I just break out. I would just hit the stop button and then ChatGPT.
No, well, yes, but also Sam Curtis.
Does he do a lot of
You're saying this out loud.
the Visual Basic stuff? What's it saying? Oh, did you do this at the top? Sub find over? I don't believe you, Elliot. Or you don't end your if. You gotta end your if. Yeah. Oh, is this random here?
They shouldn't do that different.
Oh yeah, it's doing a weird thing where it doesn't. Yeah, so copy those and paste them in the values.
Are you not having a great time?
No, my computer is crashing out.
Special.
Are you guys happy that ASC's over?
Right, about
Do you feel like
that
it was
side,
as
and
well?
then you have the vision.
Sounds like Tipper.
Still live on that shit.
You're right, I'm not.
Have
Yeah,
that
but
some
these-
homework done.
Did?
Probably did it wrong.
There you go. Okay,
So
yeah,
if you go
yeah. So
about
now
that
we're on it
side,
and see if it does.
is one of the forces.
One gets dropped.
You don't have to
You got kids, so.
I know.
Yeah,
Thank
but I
God.
did the same thing.
Oh, he's shaking his head.
Great, let's see your code.
Like, it's a hard man, please.
Mhm.
I'm just jealous because my name hasn't been drawn yet.
Hey, it keeps
Oh,
getting
you're
there on time.
You're looking in
Yeah.
in column
Of course, the one day I don't wake up until like
And you've got all your notes.
literally class is starting.
You did it though. You made it.
I know, seriously. That was a close one.
Oh yeah, that'll get you.
Was it giving you
There you go. Yeah, we got it.
nothing was happening.
Yeah,
What-
because it was looking,
I know
it was
I'm
looking
asking
at
for it,
two,
but
and
what's your
it could have.
Oh, I didn't see the next one.
It's just
Oh,
going out. Still not working?
Mhm.
Why did it disconnect?
Yeah, yeah. And then what do you get for the?
Are these notes posted, by the way?
Yes.
Of cells.
Because I believe that they got posted properly.
I can either, but.
Cells. Cells. Connor?
That's what I was like.
Got it?
I'll just stash this one, I'll just draw levels and
Are these random?
still.
Yes, put, copy all of them and paste them as values. See, the way that rand functions, every time you run that thing,
Right, originally just tried to put attention space right there is what I saw, and it did not.
good job. I'm gonna do that little shortcut. Command shift down and then copy all of them.
Didn't it?
Yes.
Exactly.
Yep, and now run it.
Cause it puts them as if they're moment arm.
What did it, okay, because you only did one of them. You can copy all of them, and then you do a paste special, you paste the values.
Iowa?
Do you know what I'm talking about?
You got nothing else to do. All you do is drink.
And then right there, just right click right there. You don't have to- Okay, all right.
My mom's from Iowa.
Sounds like a wild time, I'll tell you what.
Yeah, just right click and then paste special. And then one of the options is. Let's paste special values.
Right, but once you're forward, wouldn't have you?
Maybe paste options.
They don't include wind at all.
Is he working on the next one?
But I think it's still random. You gotta paste, how do you paste special
Same
in?
thing that happened last, what'd you get on?
In a Windows.
Hey,
You got it?
Cause I thought he said his last week stuff.
Paste values, and so it'll just put the numbers there, and now try running it.
For an old thing, even if they're different.
Yeah. Okay.
The Tover or over?
Natover. Okay, we did our first thing. I'm back. Gavin, you got all this?
Yeah.
You're a star student these days. And we're back. We got everybody doing this. What's that? I do. I really do. I mean, I just look at you. I look at you, and I'm just like, there's no way this guy. Yeah, good point. That's a good point. So that's our. But see how ugly that is? I don't like it. Okay. So, but anyways, I mean, that's the extent of what I know what to do with this, right? I mean, that's about it. Except, like I said, I know how to use ChatGPT, right? And so, just let me show you. I did it today. So this is your homework problem, and this is what you could do, right? I went in, and I'll show you my conversation for the reinforced concrete one, right? So I went in and I just said this. Granted, I have a fancier version, right? I have the paid version, and I use the language 03 mini high. It's supposed to be really good at coding. I think the other one works. I think that we're not doing anything too fancy here. So I just said this. I said, give me a VBA code to calculate the moment capacity of a rectangular reinforced concrete beam with one layer of reinforcement, right? Can this code account for over-reinforced beams in which steel does not yield? Can it also account for fee factors based on the strain in the steel? That's all I asked it, right? And so then sure enough, right, it goes, yep, sure, I got this. And so they gave me this section of code. But then I was a little upset because it was using this. And nobody likes to do this. When you ran it, it was asking me for what's your B, what's your D, what's your F prime C. So the little pop-up window was doing like an input. And I was like, I don't give you that shit, right? This is an Excel spreadsheet. Why can't I just have this? So then I came back to it and I said, hey, can you change this so the inputs are just cells on a worksheet? That's all I said, right? Just plain old English. And it says, sure, here it is. From now on, right, B2, you're going to put the beam width. B3, you're going to put the effective depth. B4, you're going to put the concrete strength. B5, you're going to do this. Tells you what units to put it in. B6, you're going to do this. B7, you're going to do this. And then, boom, right? Gives me all the code, okay? Then I tried running it. Let me see if it worked. And then it wasn't working, right? It wasn't working. So you got to know a little bit of language here, right? Or a little bit of coding. And I said, hey, is VB case sensitive? Visual Basic case sensitive? It says, oh, Visual Basic is not case sensitive. So it doesn't know the difference between a lowercase variable and an uppercase variable. It's code. I feel like it should know this, right? It just answered this question. So I feel like if it's making me code, it should be not repeating variables, but it did. And what it was having problems with, if you remember, we did this, it had a lowercase c and a capital C for doing this. Capital C was your compression force in your concrete. Lowercase c was the neutral axis depth. So I said, hey, can you fix the code above and perhaps call the neutral axis depth X instead of C? VB is having issues with the two C's floating around. And they say, yeah, sure. Below is the revised VBA code. And then it gave me the whole thing. And then I said, can you try again? You stalled. It got hung up. It stopped doing it. So then it tried again, and then it cranked out this code. And then when I put this code in, it worked beautifully. So let me show you the result of that. And you'll do the same thing. Your homework this week is to do this. I'll post this afternoon. It's the same one. Same 2 assignments. And literally just put it into Visual Basic or ChatGPT and have it do it for you. Let me show you my... that's what I'm saying. I really think this could be usable. Right? Like if you were like as a real engineer, right? Maybe one of the things you have to do is like calculate the base shear given certain properties and then distribute it up the height of the structure. Right. VBA code to do equivalent lateral force procedure on a thing, and I'm going to embed it into the thing. What?
Do like the snow patterning on
Damn right.
roofs?
I'm sure it could. You could ask it to do this, and then it would do it, and you put it into an Excel spreadsheet. I'm serious. Like this, I really see, because like you saw what I asked it. I told it nothing about ACI. I told it nothing about fee factors. I told it nothing about, and it just knows all those equations. Obviously, you're gonna have to check and make sure things are doing what it's supposed to be doing. But like, it's literally in plain English. It did it. No, no, I didn't. I just wrote. It's what I showed you is what I wrote in there. I mean, also that PDF came from it, so like it, right. So let me. There's this one here. I did this before. Where did it go? Yep, this one here. Okay, so. This is the file, right? So I remember we had this thing set up, and it told me where to put things. It said put B in B2, put D in B3, put F prime C in B4, right? And so I just put all those things where they're at, right? And then let me see if I can get it here. I don't know what my programming window went. It's a different page. I just went in here, and then. Oh, where did it go? Oh, these guys. No, not this one. These ones. Oh yeah, compute fee moment. There it is, right there. And so I set it up so it's tied to this. When I hit this button, it runs the stuff, right? And it even does. It puts all of this stuff in here, right? Let me just delete it. Right, and it says, right? And it outputs on its own, based off of what I said, it put in this. Oh, how about I tell you where the neutral axis step? And then it has some Greek letters that aren't coming through here. Let me tell you what my strain and my tension steel is. Let me tell you what my steel stress is, what my force in my T is, what my capital C is. You can see that they're equal to each other. What the nominal moment capacity is, what the phi factor is for this guy, and what the design moment is, right? It decided on its own to plot those things out, and it did. And I'm sure you could ask it to format it and stuff, okay? So then you're like, well, that's... Yeah, I know, right? And so this is, so by the way, the way I got this idea was from a Structures 2 homework that I made a long time ago. So remember in Structures 2, you had to do, you calculate the moment capacity of a beam for a bunch of different areas of steel. And then once you got up to a certain area of steel, then the phi factor changes and it makes a plot that goes out and then over to the right. Do you remember this? There's a,
We literally just did this in our last homework.
yeah, right? So you did it. It goes like that. So what I did in the second one here is I said to it, it's like, hey, this is great. I said that, what did I say right here? How about adding another macro to calculate the moment capacity for AS ranging from 10 to 20, and then creating a plot of the moment capacity, including phi factors as a function of A. So that's basically what that Structures 2 homework did. And so it took it took a couple of steps, right? So it gave me this code, and then when I ran it, it worked, but it was going from 10. I said, actually, instead of going from 10, can you go from 2? Can you go from 2 to 20 with increments of 1, and then have the plot simply be a scatter? It wasn't doing a scatter plot. It wasn't doing an XY scatter plot. It was doing it was doing line plots, and it wasn't X versus Y, so it wasn't right. So I coached it a little bit, and then it gave me some code, and then that worked. Or that wasn't correct. You still want, it took a couple back and forths to get the X and Y stuff correct. And then, great. But then can you modify this so that you can run this more than once and keep the previous values in a plot? That way I could see effect of varying other parameters so that you make the markers and colors change throughout the thing. Because I wanted to see, like, if I do this for different parameters, what do those plots look like? And instead, it kept repeating it and just covering over the old one. And so when I had to do that, let me show you the result. Right, and then I assigned it to a button, right? So I tell you this is a button, so I run this button right here, and it says, right, and there it is. And then so that's area steel going from 2 to 20, and you can see that when it hits the 0.0, the phi factor, it doesn't keep going up because the phi factor plucks it off, and then also the steel yield. So the yield, I guess steel yield is going this way. So, but anyways, the phi factor kicks in and levels it off. I can come over here and change this thing to make this 30, right? And I could run it again, and it does it again, right? I mean, come on now. F5C,
Wow.
5,000.
That's so cool.
Thank you, Bryce. Right? Thank you, Bryce. I mean, it is cool, right? Like, I bet you, honestly, you could do this with your timber homework, right? If you have some Excel spreadsheet going, I bet you could do it in PM interaction diagram. I bet you could just, I didn't say anything about use ACI or anything. I just be like, hey, I'm calculating the buckling capacity of a steel member, and I'm doing this, and I'm going to put this into the thing. What do you think? And then it'll give you some code. I mean, I don't know what the fuck.
Change
What are we
your
doing?
Y to 80. 80,040. I just wanted to.
Let me just hit button 3 here, and I'll run that for you.
Oh, that's what I.
That's what I expected. Yeah, that's right where I expected that. I mean, isn't that good? Isn't that cool? I mean, and it's built into Excel, right? And then again, you look at the actual code. I don't know what the hell it's doing, right? Like it is, but it comments everything, and it's really good at it, and it's built in, and it'll do. I bet you could do any one of our homework problems with this stuff, and it's just cool. All right, that's all I had. We gotta go celebrate. So yeah, that's your assignment, is to do those 2 problems. I'll post that later, and just do it in Visual